This is Ted, and even in religion, even in all religions on earth, all religion on earth, including in Judaism, including books of Moses and what they called Torah, and what Jewish had in temple and in Jerusalem and in Israel in times of Jesus is obsolete. Even what was written, additional to 1,000 years ago, even hundreds of years ago, is obsolete. Even what was written even a couple hundred years ago, even additional to 100 years ago, is obsolete. Even what Ted wrote and did in videos and took in photos and put out in photos, even during this coming in approximately, additional to 12 years, starting exactly to 3.5 years before Y2K, some of this is obsolete now already. It's already obsolete. Ted has already learned additional and had additional revealed to Ted from definitely what he believes have to be real angels in heaven, or what was called heaven, now currently called original heaven. And even this, much of the early writing of Ted's and videos and photos, these are obsolete. Therefore, God, the concept of or belief, God never changes. God is constant. God can never change. God's information never changes. God's scriptures never change, is completely ridiculous. It is stupid. It is you're a bunch of idiots then. You are completely you don't have a working brain. You're not even intelligent. You're definitely not intelligent enough, or very intelligent. You're definitely not a bunch of geniuses. You're religious, scholarly idiots and stupids and fools. Because you read things like in Genesis, Exodus, and Leviticus, and Deuteronomy, and even books of Moses in it, it has written things about, what you do with cattle, and it's focused on a real primitive culture about cattle, and if this happens, then you pay this much, or if, you're exposed to this type of disease, you're unclean, or if you're unclean, you have to, for this many days, be unclean, and it's obsolete. Much of this, and people have actually, some have actually figured this out. God does change. God can try to improve. God can try to keep current with current times. God can reveal scriptures for these times now and try to, how much into the future, extrapolate into the future, how far into the future we can extrapolate. We can't travel into the future. This is impossible. We cannot and do not travel into future. Therefore, what we're trying to tell you is even Ted's information, Ted's scriptures, what in additional 12 informations, some of this what he did early is already obsolete. Okay? On information, is knowledge constantly, when knowledge is figured out, is it constantly constant? Is knowledge constant? No. It becomes obsolete. Is software constant? No. Earlier software becomes obsolete. Are computers and technology and entertainment and movies and all of this constant? No. It becomes obsolete after a while. Okay? Are we going to focus on black and white movies when now we have color? Are we going to focus on the earlier form factors when now we have HD? Are we going to still use horse and walk, or use horse and buggies when now we have vehicles and airplanes and jets? Or are we going to still use tall wooden sailing ships when we have modern ships and even nuclear powered ships and nuclear submarines for the military? Are the military going to go back to using cannons and these old tall sailing ships? Or are these obsolete? They're obsolete. Are the military going to go back to muzzle-loaded guns and these old cannons and swords and this? Or are we going to go back to a military using only swords? Yes or no? No. Okay. These weapons are obsolete. These militaries are obsolete. These governments are obsolete. Therefore, can Ted's religion be obsolete? Yes! Religion, even if it's Ted's religion of the past, it can be obsolete. Even if it's Ted's government of past, even in heaven, it can be obsolete. The kingdom of God, the kingdom of Ted, of past, can be obsolete. Governments cannot stagnate. Therefore, why is religion stagnating? Religion cannot stagnate. Ted's scriptures cannot stagnate. Ted's information cannot stagnate. Ted's scriptures cannot stagnate. There is the concept of it becomes obsolete and obsolescence, and it does become obsolete, and there is obsolescence. God is not constant where he never changes. You see, this concept also in religion or religions is not accurate. God's scriptures are not constant where they can never be updated. They can be updated. There's a concept of obsolescence and where they become obsolete. Some of you just don't get it, or you want to stay stuck in past, or you want to stay so far stuck in past, you're still in Judaism, focusing on books of Moses and focusing on what they call, these books and Torah and different things, when they're obsolete. Even Ted's information during this coming, there has been different obsolescence. In education, technology, business, do we stay stagnant? Do these stagnate? Or is there a time when this becomes obsolete? There are times when this becomes obsolete. They have to stay current enough or they can't compete. And they can't, they're not with current times. Ted's religion is with current times, in on and around weebled earth and in original heaven and out into universe. What he did before, even during this coming, much of what he did before is already obsolete. There's a concept of obsolescence. That what Ted does from this time forward is better, should be improved, should be an improvement, should be an advancement, should be a progress, should be a moving forward from what Ted even did already, in addition to 12 years on, around, and in weebled earth, and 12 years in additional with Ted's information. Some of it's already obsolete. You need to understand this concept of obsolescence and what is obsolete, including in Ted's religion, in Ted's religious domes, in Ted's creatordoms, in Ted's kingdoms, in Ted's governments, in Ted's militaries, many different things.